a pleasure to be here, and of course, it's a pleasure to talk about the women entrepreneurs. So it's not me, I'm only going to be the moderator. I just want to share some thoughts with the real main characters of this panel that are our female entrepreneurs. So I just want to welcome Victoria Blanco, founder of Abaco, a really nice social women entrepreneur. Welcome, Victoria. I do have with me digitally, we do have Vicky, who is the founder of Arukai. Hi, Vicky, how are you?
I'm great. Hi.
And then we do have Gabriela. She is founder of Ethic Hack. Welcome, Gabriela.
Thank you, Marta.
Okay, ladies. First of all, I would love for you to introduce yourselves and mostly do a small pitch about what does it mean, Ethic Hub, Arukai, and Abaco, so everybody gets to know the fantastic entrepreneurships you're doing. So let's start with Gabriela, for instance.
Thank you. I'm Gabriela Chang, co-founder of Ethic Hub. We are proving a better economic system is possible, more inclusive, sustainable, and profitable. Because the traditional system left out a quarter of the world population. Most of them are small farmers living in poverty despite having profitable activities, but no valid warranties to borrow from the banks. So we built an international community where any of you can invest into this farmer and improve their living standard through their own productivity. And you get a monetary reward for this. Because the problem is so big, donation and philanthropy are not enough. So the Inter-American Development Bank invested in us because of the huge social, economic, and environmental impact we are developing. We are using blockchain, so you can lend the money to these people in a secure way because it is protected with our compensation system. I'm in love with technology because it allows us, little hands, to build huge collaborative solutions to the global problems we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gabriela. Amazing what Ethic Hub is doing, reducing and making connected all over the world with those who have the capital, those who need the capital to grow. And what about you, Victoria?
Well, my name is Victoria Blanco Alegría, the founder and CEO of Abaco. Thanks for inviting us to this panel. It's a great opportunity to provide visibility to the fintech, ecosystem fintech in Latin America and the financial inclusion. Abaco is directly attacking this problem of the financial inclusion. We have developed a new credit scoring system that thus far has increased the loan approvals multiplying by 2 and has decreased the default rate in 12 points, comparing with the average of the market. Now we are focused on the gig economy workers and people who is living paycheck to paycheck. So we have developed an API so the financial institutions can connect and get information about the credit history of this kind of population. We are providing loans to working assets, such as manicure kits, motor helmets, or spare parts. With these products, our customer can get their daily earnings. So the scoring is, we feed the scoring with information coming from the smartphone. We are doing a scraping in gig economy apps and digital wallets. And also we are improving the reliability of the scoring with psychology information of our customer. Currently, we are working with 4 financial institutions in Latin America, 3 in Colombia and 1 in Mexico, and also with the main gig economy platforms such as Rappi, Uber, Mensajeros Urbanos, or Lalamove.
Amazing, Victoria. So it's great because you enable people that have no access to credit to cut those resources and in a better interest rate.
Yeah, of course. We are providing the lowest interest rate in the market. Thanks to this fitting the customer profile and all this information that can make a better profile of the customer, financial institutions feel better, comfortable to provide loans to this population.
Amazing. What about Vicky Ricaurte? Tell us a little bit about you and also about what Arukai means.
Hey, thank you, Natalia. Hello, everyone. Greetings from Colombia. I'm feeling a great FOMO for not being there with you guys. And honestly, it's a real honor to share the panel with Gabriela and Victoria, and of course, you, Natalia. Thank you again for inviting me to South Summit. Thank you as well to IDB Lab. So Arukai is an edtech company. And I'm first of all, I want to explain what Arukai means. Aru means language and Kai means future. So we basically teach coding, the language of the future, that is in Aymara, an Aboriginal language from the Andean region. So what is Arukai? Arukai is a curricular system for K-12 schools that teaches both computational thinking and coding through STEAM projects, science, technology, engineering, and math projects. But what we do it that way, because in Arukai we believe that coding is not a subject, but is a language. So basically, the teacher from the schools and the student from the schools are learning coding with art, with math, with different subjects and different projects. Our learning system, think about it like a school in a box. We provide three components. First, a product, then a service, and the product and a service is combined and delivered to our e-learning platform. First, the product is content. We basically provide lesson by lesson from K to 12 all the way down from K to 12, all the content aligned to two international standards, the IST and the CSTA, and we provide a service. Why a service? Because we do the teacher training. We teach or we train those teachers so they can, teach to their student how to code. And the beauty of the product and the service that we provide is that this delivered through our e-learning platform. And that e-learning platform is powered by machine learning. We basically, in our Arukai learning system, basically is learning how the teacher and how the students are learning in order to provide a personalized learning experience in the future. Right now, we are providing adaptive education. Right now, we have presence in 8 countries across Latin America. We have been able to impact more than 100,000 students, more than 4,000 teachers. We have presence in 300 schools again across Latin America. Our education model is like a combination of a software as a service plus online program management. We define our education model as a program as a service, and we charge a flat fee per student per year. Our learning system is currently in 3 languages: in Spanish, in Portuguese, and in English. And our mission is to reach any kid from K to 12, no matter where those students live, no matter where, the language that those students speak. We want to teach them computational thinking and coding because those skills are critical if we want them to become relevant in the digital economy.
Thank you, Vicky. It's amazing. I'm really impressed of you three because you're doing great impact and a great impact in those countries which not always people look as an opportunity. So I was wondering, Gabriela, what what made you take the decision to be an entrepreneur, and not a simple entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur in Latin America?
I wanted to add value to the situation of my own life. I have a step on the continent and the other because I live in Spain and I was born in Mexico, so I know the culture and that. So for me, it's like obvious. Latin America is a huge opportunity for investment because we are focused on financial inclusion. And most of the population, more than 50%, to say a safe number, are unbanked. And from those unbanked, most are farmers. And even microfinance has not reached to the farmers because they cannot pay installments every week or every 15 days, as usually. So it's a blue ocean. They say that when it's barely served. So there's no competitors. The impact is evident and huge. So it was like very easy to make the connection. We have very little return for our savings in the banks here, and there people is paying over 100% interest for insufficient money to get out of the poverty cycle. So you use your superpowers, investing into them, they can grow their productivity, we help them to export the products, and all the parties win. That's our proposal of a new economic system. Supply chain with little links, where every link adds value, and the farmers are no longer the weakest one.
It's quite impressive because we don't always see like the people in the base in the pyramid as clients. We sometimes see them as they are beneficiaries, but they're not. They are.
We need to stop seeing this as charity. It's not. It's a huge commercial opportunity, sustainable, profitable, as it has to be sustainable.
And with a huge impact, though.
Yes, exactly.
And what about you, Vicky? What were those opportunities that you saw in Latin America that make you take the decision?
Well, Latin America is booming. I'm going to give you the EdTech perspective, right? I think EdTech, not only in Latin America, but in the world, has been experiencing the best month in history. And the reason behind that are many. First, the pandemic. Second, the EdTech crackdown in China. And finally, the ECG framework that investors want to follow. And ECG means environmental, social, and governance follow, which is perfect. It's a perfect fit for EdTech. So let me click down on the pandemic. The pandemic helps governments and institutions, adapt and adopt online education, digital tools. And that helped a lot of startups, tech startups, to be feasible in the long run, right? Second, parents, teachers, students understand now the value of edtechs, of online education, of online solution, of in general edtech. And that, understanding ended up, causing traction to different edtechs. And when you see traction in an industry, what happens usually next is that investors notice that traction. And as I mentioned before, edtech have been, growing and getting more traction than ever before. So what we've seen in Latin America is that angels, VCs, private equities are putting money into the edtech industry. And when you see that, you start seeing another phenomenon, the super rounders. Super rounders are those startups that raise more than $100 million. And when you see a super rounder in the sector, they become kind of a catalyst for the sector, because usually super rounders have to grow quickly. They have to grow either organically or inorganically. And inorganically means that those super rounders start buying more or smaller startups, and that's another catalyst in the sector. So right now we have seen, I'm going to give you two quick examples, like Baidu. Baidu is an Indian company that recently bought Tinker and Epic in the US to consolidate, her presence in the region. And in Latin America, we have seen a lot of movement in the K-12 segment with learning system like Arukai. And we have seen like a lot of movement as well in the higher ed space with online universities, with online program management. So I'm going to give you a quick example in Latin America. Creana is almost a super rounder. They raised $93 million, and you see that catalyst coming because they are going to start probably, buying smaller startups. So I don't have a doubt that, Latin America is going to keep growing, and the investors are going to keep putting, resources on the region. Regarding the crackdown in China, investors are looking more into Latin America. And with the ECG model, EdTech meets those requirements. So it's a perfect fit, that framework that the investors wants to meet with EdTechs. So there are 7 unicorns in the last quarter in the world in EdTech, and now we have 70, 40 super rounders in the world. So EdTech again is booming, and in Latin America is an interesting player for EdTechs in the world. So investors, we are here, we are ready for receiving those resources in the region.
So it's a huge opportunity for investors, and it's great
Yeah.
that they're putting their eye into Latin America and EdTech. But I was wondering, Victoria, if that's the same for you. Like, did the pandemic was an opportunity, or was it a challenge?
Well, the pandemic, as everybody knows, was a really bad situation around the world. Lots of people died, got fired, but in the middle of this storm, um, we get more digital. We get more digital minded. So with this change, the change that we are expecting in 5 or 7 years came during the pandemic. So for us, remember when we were all around lockdown here in Spain, and the only one in the street was a global rider. So everybody was so jealous of that guy. I want to be there. Was the only one outside with all the freedom to move around the city. So the gig economy. So in our case, the pandemic has a positive impact because we had more customers than ever. And there are some studies that said that gig economy platforms multiply their allies by 2 during the pandemic. So that means that this market segment is rising up. Another thing is our customers had more orders than ever, so their earnings rise up, and the probability of repay the loans also rise up. Remember also when they say that paying with cash spread COVID. So everybody started to use digital wallets and digital payments, and the transactions in the smartphone also rise up. So we had more data to feed our model and to improve all the scoring system that we were working on.
Wow, it is great to see that even though it was a huge challenge for the whole world, there's some
Yeah.
sectors that have been evolving, and also that we changed some of our consumer trends.
Yeah, the consumer behavior changed a lot during the pandemic, and another study said that the transactions in the smartphone increased in 500%. 500%. So it's an amazing change in our life that bring us to the future, but not to the early future, not to the future in very years
Yeah.
along.
And talking now about growth, I was wondering, which is like the next steps that you ladies have. I was, in the case of Vicky, I was reading that Arucai has presence in different countries, among them in Spain. And how is this is an opportunity, a connection, and why you have this strategy looking also in Europe for like investing in your products and services?
Absolutely. We have presence in 8 countries across Latin America, of course, in Spain as well. Even in the audience, we have a member of our team, Yolanda Ramirez. It would be great if you can connect with them after this panel ends. Arucai is why we are expanding not only in Latin America, but also in Spain and across the world, I would say, is because Arucai is solving a global problem, the lack of digital talent in the world. And we are solving this problem with a scalable solution, which is our learning system. And Arucai wants to tackle this problem since the student is as young as 5 years old in the schools. According to the World Economic Forum, just 1 out of 10 schools teaches computational thinking as part of their curriculum. Nevertheless, 80% of the future jobs are going to require digital coding-based skills. And I would say not future jobs, but present jobs, right? Like companies like Abaco, like Ethic Lab needs digital talent. And actually, you've seen during these days in the South Summit, all the startups that were showcased during the summit were born out of young minds who knew how to code. So those entrepreneurs that enable technology to solve real life problems. So again, this is not a problem, just a Latin America problem, but a global problem. And that's the reason why we are expanding across the world. The pandemic, of course, accelerated accelerated the digital transformation in any industry. The largest company is in the world are tech based. So no matter the job or the industry that our K-12 students are gonna pursue or gonna work on in the future, they are gonna need digital skills. So again, our mission, and I want to repeat this because it's our purpose. We want any K-12 student in the world to learn coding and computational thinking because those skills are critical if we want them to be again relevant in the digital economy. My call to action, in this panel is to call innovators, to call educators to start the learning and the teaching of computational thinking in the schools if we actually want to solve the problem of lack of digital talent. Um, the, the the final call to action for me is we want as an educator, as an innovator, to prepare the students for the jobs that the AI, this revolution of the revolution of the AI are the jobs that the AI are gonna create, not the jobs that the AI are gonna eliminate. So the teaching and the learning of computational thinking is as important as learning math, as learning English. So that's the reason why, Natalia, we are expanding across Latin America and we are building, bridges with different regions to solve this global problem.
So it's amazing because we never see like the problems we have in common. And that's a clear example of you are trying to solve a problem that is common in Europe or in all the developed North world and with other developing countries or other regions that could be Latin America. So it's great because it's a great opportunity, but still we have to face that necessity that you were raising, Vicky. And what about you, Gabriela? Which are this that you want to tackle, and which is like the connections you want to make with Europe and
It was just natural and logical to connect complementary economic regions and to build a bridge of technology and financial to take two problems, the lack of investment opportunities here for the normal people and the lack of financial there, and put them together. So that's just logical. Our system wouldn't work if it was within the same economic areas. So what we are building is that synergy between analyzing the root of the problem, not just the symptoms, and facilitating a solution that benefits all the players within the space. So it was like, because money has a different value depending on the part of the world it is located. The root problem we detected was the uneven allocation of capital. So by connecting these bridges, we solve it.
It's amazing how different it is because for Vicky, it's like they're sharing a common market. In your case, you're doing synergetic markets, investors that they want to have a high interest rate that in these countries it's like 0.1.
Negative rates.
And you see Latin America, that the people that want to have access to credit and even like people that have a kind of track record of credit, that have really high interest, and then you're tackling two problems at the same time. It's synergetic markets. And
the impact also. And the
impact is the first. We don't give a step, it doesn't have impact. So that's inherent. So we contribute to 9 SDGs, but we are focused on eradicating poverty and lack of opportunities, because that would benefit us in the first world also, if we have a balanced world. So that's, I'm sorry I didn't talk about impact, but I took it for granted. We shouldn't give a step without ethics or without impact.
And you, Victoria, what are the needs that you're looking for? Like, what is like you see the opportunities that there might be in Europe, there might be in Latam, and what does Abaco need right now?
Well, I see a really big opportunity of investment in Latin America. I think the fintech ecosystem is really, really hot over there in the region. There are some unicorns coming up. Last week we saw Confio, that was a fintech unicorn from Mexico, and I think there are lots of coming up and raising up. There is another big unicorn like Nubank. In the last round, the valuation was around $30 billion. That's an amazing number. And there are lots of unicorns coming, and there are some unicorns really established, like Rappi, Kavak, and Voila. So from my point of view, I think European venture capital should look to Latin America like a big opportunity to make new things. There are lots of things to do. In relating to fintech, there is a really big opportunity in the infrastructure because one of the main weaknesses of the financial institution is the legacy systems. So there are lots of software pieces to work on and to develop. Another thing is what I saw from my experience is there is a lack of venture capital investment in pre-seed and seed, and there are most of the money in Latin America goes to Series A and B. So I think it's a gap over there in that stage, in seed and pre-seed. So I think the European venture capital, with all the knowledge got in here in the previous startup fundings, should look at this stage of the startups in Latin America.
It's amazing. I don't know if there are any venture capital or investors in this room, if not, or online. But I want you all to know that it's not just an opportunity of investing in very sound, great businesses, but we have the opportunity to invest in real change makers here.
Yeah.
We even have these ladies here, that it was the IDB lab who put us together because they saw the potential, the high potential that the Abaco, Ethic Hub, and Arukai have, not only of raising money, of making money and doing a good business, but also of creating a huge impact in the world and escalate really fast. So now that we are here shaping the future from South Summit, and we're thinking of the world we want to produce, the world we want to leave as a legacy to our kids, I wonder if you can say, like in 30 seconds, each of you, which is the legacy you are working for from Abaco, and what is the type of world you want to produce?
Well, in Abaco, we are trying to provide the opportunity to everyone to develop in their country, and I think great access is one of most important things in a society that wants to be equal. And also we are using all the technology to provide this score into financial institutions and to have a fair financial system, because we are also working in the lowest interest rates in the market.
Amazing. And what about you, Vicky? What about Arukai?
I love that question, my favorite one. I want to create a future where K-12 students have the skills needed to become the entrepreneur who use technology to solve the most pressing problems that we are currently facing as humanity. How we are going to feed the world, how we are going to fight poverty, how we are going to hack our system to extend our life expectancy. If you see tech, agrotech, fintech, biotech, you name it, all those industries need digital talent, right? And Aruka is here to, provide that talent for the world. That's the future that I imagined.
Great, amazing, very inspiring, both of you. And what about you, Gabriela?
We want to be like leaders, proving that it's possible to make things better and that it's profitable to be sustainable. And the business that doesn't have a purpose, that businesses that are not sustainable won't be otherwise, don't be sustainable. If you're not sustainable, you won't be profitable. It's all linked together. We cannot give a step back on the way of achieving the 17 goals of the UNO, the United Nations, because we need to pull all together. And we are proving it's a good business to do things right.
Doing good is really a good business.
Yes.
So may I ask a huge applause to these three change makers?